Morning. How often do you see a painting that someone has done and put it on Facebook or wherever, and you think, oh, why didn't I think of that? And I saw one that's posted on my Facebook by Connie Tenquist, who's I believe he's one of my subscribers, but he's certainly one of my friends now on Facebook from Sweden. And it was an oil painting of just some bit of landscape, a couple of islands, all with but all done in the mist because it was wet in wet. Well, it would have been wet in wet, certainly wet in wet oil painting. But I like to do it in watercolour, and I've done a number of misty scenes. But this was just on the horizon, but just gently brought into the water. But I'm going to add a bit of a beach in the foreground, which will be in detail to give the contrast. So I'm not copying it. I'm just making it up. Incidentally, if anybody's interested in looking at all my stills on Facebook, they're on Dave Usher Artist on Facebook. You should be able to get there. I put photos of all my demonstrations on. Well, back to about January, February of this year. So 9 or 10 months of stills, and you know how many I've put on. So I'll use the hake, but I'm going to use my sables as well. I just want to give this a good wetting, and let it soak in just a little bit. I put a horizon in faint line because I have a habit of painting my horizons going up, probably because I'm right-handed. So that's a good soaking. You don't want the water running down the page. It will congregate to the bottom, and the paper will spread as it absorbs the water. But a very gentle grey sky with just a little bit of lighting. The colours of my palette, not that I use them all, are lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey, and burnt sienna. So I'll use the hake to do the water and the sky. So I'll put in a bit of low stuff through the middle here. Just a little bit in the upper part of the picture, and a nice light grey with the alizarin, Payne's grey, a bit of ultramarine, but I don't want it dark. Just a gentle, just let that blend in, that will do. I'll just put a bit of that raw sienna back in the sunny bit here, or the light area. Okay, so let that soak in a little bit. I'll reclip the paper because it's drying a little bit now. And hopefully by the time I get to the bottom, you can see how the paper, or the pigment, is separating as it dries. This happens when the flatter the paper, the more you get this granulated effect, and it's very light in this because I've used very little paint. But if you use light red and ultramarine, burnt umber and ultramarine, black and burnt sienna, with a board fairly flat, you'll get this separation and you get the lovely texture. Roland Hilder, in his wonderful watercolours, exploited this to the full. Probably my favourite watercolour painter. Love Sebo, of course. Love his simplicity, or apparent simplicity, because it wasn't. He might have made it look easy. As Prince Philip found out when he went to Antarctica and the Falklands with the Duke of Edinburgh, he wanted to learn to paint from Seago, but he gave up. He just sat behind the master and watched him work. Right, okay, so while that's a bit wet, let's drop in, I'll use this number 8 sable, and I'll mix up some autumny colours because we are thinking about autumn here. Bit of blue in there, bit of red. So let's see what happens. Clean paint here. I'll put the background in and I'll stiffen it up a little bit. Put a bit of blue and a bit of red over the top of that. And we'll just bring the water down, see if we can flood the colour. And a bit darker, bit of Payne's grey I think, a bit thicker. Bit burnt umber in there. And just bring the reflections in. That has just softened up a bit. Just going to dry that off there. Let's just lift that off the surplus water and a bit of grey. Just harden the edge a little bit and see if I can. I'll say that the edge. I mean this bit here. All while it's wet. But I want the harder stuff in the edges. So it's very interesting painting into wet paper. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I've got a yearly check-up with me docs at 11:15, so luckily it's only just down the road. It's just okay, so something like that. Bit of hard, I think. Not so much to mimic the other side, but just to justify having this there in the first place. So just a little bit of hinted at detail on here. As you know, I like painting what on the surface are simple scenes. I have to stay within my abilities. Don't want to muck every painting up because I've tried to do the impossible. But I like to focus on atmosphere and mystery, peace, calm it doesn't reflect my nature, it reflects the opposite, so maybe that's why I find my peace in my painting. Funny thing that. Right, we clip the paper and then we'll dry that and then put in some dry brush with a large sable. Right, hold your head, hold your ears. Right, we've got some little tide marks there, so we'll just remove those. They would probably call this Serenity or something. I think maybe on reflection, forgive the pun, I could have done all this in blues and dark blues and greys. Maybe I'll do it again another time. Right, let's go in with some umber, bit of grey, bit of burnt sienna, raw sienna. Bit of grey. Now, what a lovely brush this turned out to be for this sort of stuff. Nice and warm. But dark. So there we are, got some interesting effects, some highlights. We'll add a bit of detail of something or other in there. Don't know what. I guess we could see what we think of that. Card, could we put a bit of right, let's use a bit of a rigger for some detail in there, some grasses. It's so easy because we're working on dryish paper now. We can catch the highlights, I mean the high spots on the paper. We get this hit and miss dry brush, and we can have some sticks or markers or something in here. Now, I'm using Payne's Grey with some burnt sienna, burnt umber. Very, very useful colours. And we'll do this one coming up here. Just some bits of detail that was left of an old pier or something, and we can go in with a bit of grassy stuff in here. With shore grass. Sea cabbage. Just a bit of grass sticking through on the edge here. Now we can't get simpler than this, can we? Bags of damn all. That's but it was always the simple landscapes and watercolours that attracted me. Watercolour expresses this so beautifully, although I have pitched the idea, well, I've been reminded of this type of painting with the lost distance. There's nothing over here really. And that is about all I'm going to do on that, because I haven't got much more time. So I'll think about doing some of these, but in different colours. I'll try blues and greys, and just keep the warm colours in the front. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. We'll put it in a mount and see. So we've got what I can consider a very, very subtle sky, bit of cloud, but still no detail. Let's put it in this mount. I've got to put a painting, the Autumn on the Wandle, in a frame later when I come back. Right, that's it. Let's just clip it. Let's see now. I think I like this one. I enjoyed doing it. It's quite quick to do. Right, okay, so let's bring the camera around and see what we've got here. So there we are. No people, just a large amount of space. I'll zoom in just so you can see that distance. But I'll go and upload this. So there's my foreground really. This will be on Facebook in a few minutes, if I've got time to do it. Probably. So okay, let's zoom out and give you a last look at that for the time being. Hope you enjoyed that. Try simple things. It's okay pushing yourself, you know, for challenges and all that. Sorry about this tripod, but I can't sort of get it in the right position for showing this. Okay, see you later. Bye bye.